Good morning. It is Sunday morning. It is Christmas Eve. I can get to church a little late today because there's only one service at 10 instead of 9:30. And got to get my miles in because I ate everything yesterday. And I'm afraid my headphones might die. But we'll do our 3 or so miles and then move on with the rest of the busy Christmas Eve day. See you, bye. So I'm walking down the street and there's some kid who's got rap music playing out loud. But I turn around as I'm walking down the street and we have a friend here hanging out here. Good morning, Hawk. It's okay. I'm just gonna walk by really slowly and I'm gonna let you do your thing. I am gonna take a picture though, just so you know. Pretty cool. Stay. It's okay. All right, bye. How about that? That was fun. Uh-oh. That's not a Merry Christmas sight. A lot of water. Okay, almost 3 miles. 47 minutes. I gotta get in the shower and get to church. Happy Christmas Eve, y'all. Hey, time to go to church. 9:05. I can get there in 10 minutes. I dilly-dallied a little bit between the shower and shaving, and I did not hustle quite quickly enough. All right, let's make sure nobody's walking. And somebody had to abruptly stop this morning because she hopped into her car without looking and then wanted to start backing up. Brakes are squeaking. That's odd. Whew. All right. Wish me luck. Happy Christmas. Merry Christmas Eve. It's the 24th. And time to hustle. Yeah, I know. I don't have windshield washer fluid. I know. Car's very demanding sometimes. All right, green light, good. While we're in the car, I don't think I have talked to you about all these dramatic revelations from my Thomas family ancestry. I think I've alluded to it. I have a frog. The most important thing for me to relay, I think, is that there's this guy, this cousin of mine. If you go back, so many generations and then go over and down, he has been doing this genealogical research for almost like 40 years, something like that, or not, almost 50 years. What am I talking about? He started when he was 13 and he's 62, so it's going on 50 years of looking into this. And if you go back through my father's father, so Gordon, Joseph, George, Joseph, Abraham, James, that's the end, because we don't know who James's father was. His mother was a remarkable woman from a prominent-ish family in Virginia, and her name was Lucy Thomas. And so James Thomas, the progenitor of our line, as far as back as we know for sure, he took his mom's name, and we don't know who the father was. So this guy that researched it really wants me to take a Y-DNA test because I am in the paternal line. He is not. He's a Thomas, and he's related on his mother's side, not his father's side. Yeah, so that's fascinating. A part of that is the other parts of the family history that then we also do know, and that he knows because it's his family history, and he's been to Virginia. He's gone to the courthouse. He's made copies of the wills and the land contracts and the legal disputes that would happen because Lucy got married 2 times. For her first husband was a widower, and there's kids, and then they had a couple of kids, and there were some legal things there. And then after he died, she married another man, and kind of the similar thing happened. Now, that guy's last name was Childers. The Childers go back to even further into colonial America. We're pretty much in colonial America anyway. Mr. Childers had also been widowed. And one of the daughters from a previous marriage married James. So obviously no blood relation. This was the daughter of her second husband after James had been born to an undocumented father, we'll say. The Childers line, so we have got we don't have it two ways, but we do name-wise, which is interesting. Anyway, the Childers go back to the Woodsons, and there is one Woodson family in the United States from colonial days. There may be other Woodsons that moved from England here, but if you are descended from the Woodsons, you are descended to one family, Dr. John Woodson, who was on the George, which landed in Jamestown in 1619. So that's pretty cool. So that's his wife. So that is, when I went back that many, whatever, to James's wife, and therefore my great whatever grandmother is, like the Dr. Woodson was her great grandfather. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I can claim heritage back to the Mayflower, which arrived a year later with the Brewsters, and I can claim heritage to Jamestown in 1619 with the Woodsons, who came over on the George a year before the Mayflower. Who knew? I didn't know. Now, something else I may or may not have ever mentioned during the course of this videoing and being on YouTube is that as far as for my whole life, as far as the family heritage is concerned, mostly what we talked about was what we knew, which was that my mom's mom, Viola, she was a first-generation American. Her parents were German. They were Theodore and Augusta, I think, was Louis. I can't remember. That might be the previous generation. So her parents were German. So I knew that we were off the boat German just, a couple generations back. So a quarter German. Although she was American, but she was 100% German. So my grandmother was 100% German. And you might know that the lovely and talented Mrs., she's German and Dutch. She's also a first-generation American. So we knew that. So what I used to say was like, well, the Thomases, we're in the hills of southern Kentucky, and if we go back to the Revolutionary War. My mom's dad's side, which is named Willis, don't know. I don't know. We're Mutt, as far as I know. For all I know, there's some Native American in there. I really have no idea. So kind of right, but kind of all wrong. The Willis side actually, it goes. If you follow that name, it's straight back to England. So England, Willises, right? They got here into Ohio. They're just migrating westward, little bit by little bit, after a couple generations from being in Pennsylvania and probably Baltimore. I don't even know. And then right. So that's kind of cool. There is. The Thomas side, which I said, hills of southern Kentucky, I don't know, Revolutionary War, American. That's absolutely 100% true. But also, depending upon which way you go, if you follow the Thomases, like I said, we don't know. If you follow like my grandmother's line, she was a Snowden, very British name, so pretty much British. Although her mom was Scottish, and that's that's a verifiable traceable line. Right back into some people that had land in Scotland before they moved over here. So a lot of these folks, it wasn't all poor people that moved to America, and there are absolutely parts of that. If you get into the line, it just kind of dead ends because they were who knew. But definitely parts of the Thomas side of the family and the Willis side of the family that were people. Who knew? I didn't know. That doesn't mean anything. It's just interesting to know where you come from. A lot of British, Scottish is a beverage, Irish people, but some of which were second and third and fourth and fifth and sixth children of people with land and money and titles and stuff. Now, because the Woodsons, Dr. John Woodson was a very well-known figure in colonial America, there is a fair amount of stories about him and some things that are absolutely known because of that. One of them that his wife, and the mother of his children and widow, because he got killed by Indians outside of Jamestown. He gave up a barony in England. His dad was like, he was like the fifth or sixth kid. His dad was like, we'll make you a baron. I think it might have been the discussion was, if you don't marry your Quaker girlfriend, because they were, of course, Church of England, Sir whatever, Woodson from Devonshire, and he went with his heart, and then accepted this land in the New World if he would come along as the surgeon and physician on the boat and for the colony, which he did. The things we do for love. David, the historian fella who told me a lot of this, and pointed me in directions, because he's a super nice guy and also I think a little lonely. One of his favorite bits, he wanted to communicate that Lucy Thomas, mother of James Thomas, and then twice married after that, and I think twice widowed, she was a pretty impressive person in his estimation. She had this kid, but the Thomas family had some status, and then was fooling around with this guy, Neville, having an affair with him, who was married at the time, and then his wife died, and then he married her. But when his particular will, he had enough foresight to say, listen, I'm going to give you, she had land and stuff. She was a woman of some means in colonial America, because of her family and all. And he said, listen, in his will, I will grant you this additional land, this plantation, as long as you don't marry my good friend Abraham Childers. So she married Abraham Childers because she didn't care. She had her own stuff. She wasn't going to mess around. Don't mess around with Lucy. A delightful Christmas Eve Sunday morning service. I have to actually throw a shout out to the instrumentalists that lead us, our choir master, director of all things music, Ben Owen, and our doctor of organ composer extraordinaire, Brenda Portman. They played two four hands on the piano pieces today, just to give the choir a break, since we're singing a lot tonight. Busy holiday season, you know how that goes. And they were delightful, just delightful performances. So kudos to them. Anyway, I hope your Christmas Eve is going as well as mine is. It's the fourth Sunday of Advent, so it's Advent 4, as they made a joke about today. And we will continue our Christmas weekend as we go through the day. See you. Yep, it is Christmas Eve. It is December 24th. And now I'm driving around with my convertible top lowered. I'm also actually right by a cemetery. Just over here is a cemetery where, like, my great-grandfather on my mother's side is buried. But me, I'm just heading back home before I have to go sing again. We just had a free caroling gig for a sick kid, which was kind of nice. They were very pleasantly surprised to have carolers show up at their doorstep, and now it's going to get loud, so Merry Christmas. I'm on my way to caroling. Check this out. Well, folks, that's how you do it. That was a great service. Maybe I'll grab a clip for you. Merry Christmas. Christmas Eve is coming to a close. It's 10:31. We have an errand to run. Got to water some plants at the grandparents' house and get on the road to packing and sleeping and flying and yeah, all that stuff. Because we are out of here in the AM. All right. Hope you made your Sunday, Christmas Eve what you wanted it to be, and we will talk at some point. Who knows when you're watching this, right? Because I'm so far behind a video. I might just skip it all and just like whatever, delete it all and just catch up without posting. Because I don't want it to be a burden. And yeah. All right. I'm talking too much. See you. Bye. Merry Christmas.